When David opened the door, the woman immediately handed him the food she was holding to taste. To test if David could really see, she took out some poison and poured it into David's coffee. David, thinking on his feet, pretended to accidentally knock over the cup of coffee. Seeing this, the woman immediately pulled out a gun. David panicked and raised his hands, exposing his pretense of being blind. He had no choice but to tell the truth and promise not to tell the police about her murder. The woman just smiled. David didn't know that the woman's boyfriend was the local police chief. Before he could react, he suddenly fainted to the ground. It turned out that the food the woman had given David to eat when she entered was poisoned. The woman didn't kill him, but instead made David truly blind. When David woke up, he found that he couldn't see anything. The woman felt that turning David into a real blind man would make it so no one would believe what a blind man said. But at this point, her boyfriend disagreed, believing that only killing David would provide security. So, in the quiet of the night, he sneaked into David's home. He tried to strangle David to death, but David reacted quickly, grabbing an iron and knocking the police chief unconscious. Relying on his memory, David slowly escaped downstairs. David prepared to flee the city. However, when he arrived at the station entrance, he was hit by a car and knocked unconscious. He was carried into the car. When he woke up, David was lying on a hospital bed with a doctor holding a scalpel. David quickly sensed something was wrong and struggled vigorously. He hurriedly said that if they let him go, he would give them $10 million. The doctors, believing it to be true, asked David how to get the $10 million. David said to kidnap a woman and blackmail the police chief who loves her. The doctors, blinded by money, quickly kidnapped the woman and called the police chief. The police chief immediately took the money to the designated location to redeem her. They told the police chief over the phone to throw the money into the elevator and run upstairs to save the person. However, the police chief immediately ran towards the stairs, not knowing that the stairs had already been tampered with. The police chief tried to break the door open with his gun, but the bullet ricocheted and hit him, causing him to sacrifice his life. Seeing this, David immediately drove away with the doctors, dragging the woman with them. At this point, the doctors also gave David a chance to get rich. The woman's blood type was extremely rare, and a tribal chief's daughter currently needed a corneal transplant surgery. The woman was the most suitable candidate. If successful, the doctors were going to give him $10 million. When they had just walked halfway, the woman woke up. Seeing this, the doctor immediately stopped the car, ready to inject the woman with another anesthetic. However, the doctor was killed by the rich woman in the trunk. The woman drove David out of the car and turned the car around, trying to hit David. Suddenly, a rabbit flew onto the car's windshield, and the woman lost her life. 2 years later, David became a pianist again. He told his girlfriend about his experiences, but his girlfriend deeply believed his experience of becoming truly blind. In fact, his eyes just couldn't see at the time, but they healed soon after. The story of the doctor being killed by the rich woman just now was all made up by him, because if he didn't say that, he wouldn't be able to clear himself of his crimes.